We're about to go on a hike. I'll show you guys where we are in a second. I want to make sure my legs are nice and limber. So this is where we are. We are here in Montana. Just passed by a pack of dogs, like 10 dogs, 2 guys, and a girl. In their own business, walking along. And then we're about to head into these woods back here. So let's go. If you're wondering who I am 3+Kei. I'm just an honest Christian here to encourage you to pursue the smile by prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. I had talked to my neighbor the other day about coming out here, and she was saying, make sure that you have some bear spray or something. And as I was all the way back that way, I was like, oh shoot, I don't have any bear spray. But we're gonna go into these woods anyway. This is where we're headed. Hey, Ollie boy, what's goody? Yeah, so today was pretty good. I started a professional friend service. For context, I am a social worker. That's my 9-to-5 job. And I thought to myself, oh, like the agency I work for makes buku bucks off of my labor. That's what happens. You open a business, you pay employees, you take the main cut, the employee takes a little bit of the cut and does the work, and that's how it goes, right? And so if you don't like it, you know what you do. You go switch jobs or you start your own business. And so that's essentially what I did. It says, hey, Cuphead and My Little Pony fan. Shout out to My Little Pony. Hi. Ask your genuine question. I have a feeling it's not going to be a genuine question whenever people preface it like that. But anyway, yeah, so I started a professional friend service. Another way to look at it is I'm a social worker that works for an agency. I am now my own social work agency of one. And the title I'm using is a professional friend, in the way of like a family friend, or you know, your neighbor has this expertise, your neighbor's a nurse and comes over and helps you out. With my first client today, and it was kind of like, oh, I remember what this is like. So one thing you can hire me to do is teach you or somebody, you know, a family member, life skills. And so in this instance, this client needs to get a new job and they need to secure housing. And in order to secure housing, they need a better job. So I'm just helping to facilitate that process. And for many people, they kind of already know what to do, but many people do not, you know, and a lot of us wait until we're in a pretty bad place to recognize that a change needs to happen. Like the day is at an end and we're sitting here thinking, oh, I should have done something about this sooner, right? I was on the start of this hike, my knee was hurting and then my hip was hurting, and I have a 10K to run a 10K race to run in a couple of weeks. And I've been going through it in my mind, like, do I run this race? And it also kind of occurs to me, however naively, or it might be a dumb thought, to go ahead and run the race with a hurt knee and a hurt hip, because this might be the last race I'll be able to run, you know, just kind of seeking wisdom and doing things like that, you know. Or if you're at a job you don't like, I really want to encourage you guys, if you're doing a job you don't like, and you don't, I would say if you don't have kids, because kids kind of complicate things, believe me, I know. When I had my kid, I was in a pretty terrible job, and I felt so trapped. Like, who else is going to hire me at these wages? It was a terrible feeling. But if you don't have kids, and particularly if you have a partner, consider this your sign to jump ship. Go get a different job that's better suited to your abilities and your temperament, you know. Hi, EDM Viral. He says, hello, I'm from the Netherlands. Howdy do. I get an international snack box every month, and a couple months ago, it was from the Netherlands. Oh, we're about to come up on some pupperoos, some dogs. But yeah. And so I was going over the assessment with my new client, and it just kind of made me think, like, I remember being there. Hi. Hello. Hey. It's like a little pup that's doing this sort of thing. When I was 19, so I grew up in apartments my whole life, and when I was 19, I got off the college campus and I rented out a house. This is going to be shocking and very telling of my age. A 3-bedroom house with a full basement for only $500. And I brought my best friend down, who's the same age. I was 19, and her family brought her down. And I remember her dad yelling at me. He like cornered me and was yelling at me because he's like, where do you have her living? And I guess looking back at it now and having maybe some more experience under my belt, that house was really dilapidated. It's a really bad house, you know, but you don't know these things. I'm going to show you kind of what's happening. Every 5 minutes, I'm going to try to do like a little turnaround. So we are headed this way, further into the woods, and we are in Montana. We are seeking to not get eaten by bears. Somebody didn't bring bear spray, and I don't know if there's enough people out here that somebody else would get eaten before me. And then another way, oh, there's somebody up there. Another thing to think about with the day ending is giving your life to Christ. Or even, right, even if you don't take the step to choose to live in obedience to Christ and make him your Lord and Savior, if you're not making these choices right now, why not get to know him? And it just makes me think, you know, people get older or they get sick. And older, I mean like elderly, or they get sick, and now they're ready to get to know Christ. And the reason why is because they're closer to the truth, they're closer to accepting that he's God, and they're done kind of like running away from him. I think that's what happens when you get older. That's why there's so many old people in the church. Or I was saying this the other day, for whatever reason, I like to, I always seek advice from other people I wouldn't normally seek advice with or from. And so I was looking up advice from EMTs and like ambulance drivers and this kind of thing. But anyway, I ended up just like reading stories about their experiences. And they had polled a bunch of EMTs and ambulance drivers. And they said, we're going up this long hill. I know it doesn't look like we're going up. We're going up this mountain. It's about to get real. We're going to try to make it without pausing, without stopping. We'll see. Let me, so you guys can see the mountains. But yeah, they did these polls with like ambulance drivers and EMTs, and what they found was that when they roll up onto the scene and somebody is about to die from a tragic whatever happened, car accident, gunshot wound, whatever, the person dying tends to call out for one or two people. Do you know who they are? The first person, when people are dying, that they like out of pain, that they're calling out for, is their mom. And the second person is God. Right? We always want him. Not when it's too late. It's never too late to give your life to Jesus Christ. And until the day you die. Until you're dead. But up until your last breath, and many people choose to call out to him with their last breath. And I just think sometimes, like, why wait? You know, and there's no real judgment, because I'm an old lady, but I'm not like that old, right? Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
But I'll tell you, I'm old enough to have a past, you know, wink wink, nudge nudge. I'm old enough that I've been around the block a few times, got the t-shirt and the button, you know. And so I get it. Like, you're living your life. There's a point in your life where you feel invincible, you know, that you have until the end of the day. And obviously wisdom favors people as they get older. That's why it's a precious thing. This is neither here nor there. This is kind of an aside, but it's always cool when there's like a young person that is wise. We call them an old soul or wise beyond their years or whatever. So cool. Because most of us, like the high majority of us, in our teen years, right? 20s, 30s. I know some 40-year-old men that still sag their pants, and 40-year-old women that still, you know, have their cleavage up to their, you know, and I'm just saying, it's like a youthful look. Do whatever you're gonna do, you know. But as you do get older, you learn not only that you that you don't have all day, but unfortunately, the older you get, the more you realize like accidents happen and like randomness happens in life. So you might not even have until 3 p.m. that day. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I'm kind of coming to you guys as both a Christian, a Jesus follower, and as a social worker, to be prepared. You do not have all day to get your affairs in order. Very few people do, you know. And if you're wondering what the next step is, and again, I'm speaking to you as a Christian and a social worker, there's nothing wrong with wondering who Jesus Christ is. People get like twisted and tied up over that alone. And it's like, what's the harm? I can say as a Christian, what if I learned about Muhammad? Like, what if I learned about Muhammad? You know what I mean? Like, what of it? So what I would encourage anybody to do is learn who Jesus Christ is. Why did he die? Why was he even here? Why was he here? Why did he die? The controversy is never, did he walk the earth? Atheists for 2,000 years confirm, atheists, that Jesus was at least a man that walked the earth. So people who say that's not the case, they're kind of, they're like making it up because they're in such opposition, and that's their thing. But the contention was, after he was buried in that tomb, after he was killed, and he said, I'm going to raise up, I'm God, and I'm going to rise up 3 days later. And then he did just that. That is what is the contention. So you could then further learn about that. Did Jesus rise 3 days later? How do you know? What is the evidence for and against? Did anybody see him after he rose up? Anybody at all? You know? And if they did,
thank you.
You got this. This guy. Oh, I forgot where I was at. What I remember. Okay, there we are. Yeah. Did he 3 days later? And did anybody see him after those 3 days? You could start there too. And if they did see him, what happened next? Start there. We don't have all day. You know? Oh, I'm from Poland. Hey, Ben. Whoops. ODB. Do you like walking and going outdoors? Or are you only walking for exercise? Or just out making this video? That's a good question. I love being outdoors. Let's do it in a little pause since people are up that way now. We are in Montana. I know I said I wasn't gonna stop. Was this cute? This was a low-key stop. See how I did that? I was like, let's spin around. All right, we're back. You were asking if I like the outdoors, and I'm saying this is Montana, and everybody, hyperbole, but if you live in Montana, there's a good chance you like to do outdoor recreation, because there's a lot of it. There's hiking, hunting, camping, walking, swimming, boating, horseback riding, shooting, kayaking. There's all sorts of stuff to do here. Or I think we've got a nice scenic look out here coming here pretty soon. You could just look outside. The town I live in, of course we're in the woods, so you can't really see, but we're surrounded by mountains, 360 degrees of mountains. And our town that we live in, I think, made it to the top 20 most beautiful places or scenic places in the United States. So it's a pretty sweet deal. I don't know if you guys can see, there's not really with my camera, there's a mountain range right there. Let's get a little closer. We made it to the top though. I'm sweating. Hi BM. I'm good, thank you for asking. Just out here on this hike. Whew. That got me, almost winded me, but not quite. ODB says, I like the outdoors, is why I'm asking, and walking in the woods like you're doing is great, because you can walk and look a while and don't realize how many steps you've put in. Hey, do you have a Fitbit? I think one place where Fitbit, this is not what we're talking about at all, but I'm going to air it. I'm going to get it off my chest. With Fitbit, you used to be able to do these challenges every day. So you would compete against other people in a 10-person dashboard that you all select, like you all sign up for it. And me, I know I just went on this whole thing about how I'm a nice Christian lady, but I talk my smack. And it used to be so fun and so motivating, because if you were at 12,000 and in second place and the other person was at 12,500 in first place, you would do what you needed to do. You would shake a leg and get to stepping, and it was so much fun. And then Google bought Fitbit, and they canceled the challenges, which is like, why would you cancel? That's like the only feature. That's like the only fun thing about Fitbit. It's crazy. So ever since then, I still buy Fitbits, but only the cheapest ones. This one's mine. Here's another hack. You go on Amazon and you buy a band. ODB says you need better service because it's bad. You are cutting out and can't hear most of what you're saying, but now it's getting a little better. Oh, that's just because we're in the woods. There's no, there's no, what's a Wi-Fi? Like Wi-Fi wire? I don't know. I don't know. You know. So, as far as it being not waiting till the end of the day, I gave you my Christian, basically go find Jesus. You got to figure it out. You got to get there. You don't want to wait until you're sick, dying, or old to enjoy the blessings that he has for you. Do you know? I'll tell you, for me, and I think it's kind of one of these, like, if you know, you know, But I had developed social anxiety really, 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 really bad. And it's crazy because my entire life, I was a super social person, and now I am again. That's a sneak peek. Now I am again. But my whole life, I was very social, very outgoing. More than a few times, people had described me as kind of marching to the beat of my own drum. You know, I just kind of do whatever. And then several years ago, I developed social anxiety pretty bad, to the point that I just started isolating. I started having panic attacks. I got tremors in my hands. I was vomiting. It was like a whole thing. And I would go out into the woods because I didn't always like the woods. I'll show you my shoes. Oops. I'll show you my shoes. Can you see them? So I've always liked shoes, and I've always made a point to not get my shoes dirty. I don't like getting my shoes dirty, so I was never a woods person. But at the time of the social anxiety, I started to, I was living in Georgia. Hi. I want to do that. I know I was just talking about the 10K, but see how he's running up a mountain? This man is running up a mountain. What? I want to do that. Do you see how, you can't see how slow I'm walking? Really, really slow. This is downhill. And I'm like, I don't know if you can see, like, I'm kind of like, and this man is like running up a mountain. Goals. I want to be able to do that. But anyway, I lived in Georgia while at the time I was having the social anxiety, and all I could do was like go into the woods, and I would go there for like hours and hours and hours, and I would just pray to the Lord, and I would just say, I know you're with me. I know you're with me. And I would say that until I believed it. Because sometimes people think like, oh, okay, you're with Jesus, so you always, like, you always feel comforted, and you always, like, lean on him, and that's not true. Like, we falter as well. Okay, here's what I don't know if this is going to show up, but this is a lookout. It doesn't really show up. Right here is just like a beautiful range. Can you see it? Oh man. It's kind of like faded out a little bit. It's right above where this thing is. It's right here. But for some reason my phone isn't. Oh, do you see it? This is the range. And it's going to disappear if I see. I'm gonna go like this and just, but yeah, so I would just say, I know you're with me, I know you're with me, until I believed it, which could be, I mean, maybe it was 15 minutes, could be 3 hours in that I was like, oh, yup, Christ is rocking with me, and then, please give me peace. I need your peace. I need your peace. I need your comfort. Until I believe that, and then I would like settle down a little bit, right? And eventually, kind of people saw what situation I was in, and my niece ended up flying out and was like, I'm taking you back to Florida because you're in a weird situation. And I stayed in Florida for a year, and I continued that practice. And I don't have a tremor anymore. I do not have social anxiety anymore. And so anyway, my point is, when people are like, what can Jesus do for me? It's like, maybe that peace comes to you. Hi. Like, maybe that peace comes to you. Or maybe it's something else. I have stories upon stories upon stories of Christ just rescuing me, or to just like gloss it over, giving me blessings upon blessings upon blessings. And it looks different for different people because he knows what you need. He knows who you are in your heart and what you need. Everybody would say like, oh, I want $1 million. Jesus, give me $1 million. And it's like, maybe, you're looking for that $1 million to be accepted. And what he does is lead you into a community, maybe kind of like me. I landed in powerlifting. And wouldn't you know, everybody in the powerlifting club are Christians. We just talk about Jesus and lift heavy stuff. And the women are loud and strong, like me. It's better than $1 million. If you ask me, if I had $1 million, I'd have to hang out with other people that have $1 million. Don't wait till the end of the day, guys. Don't wait till the end of the day. Peace upon you, ministries. Howdy do. Fez 1, Jesus is King. Amen. All right, we are going to head back down. I'm going to tell you right now how that guy was running up that mountain. I'm telling you, I'm going to do that. I told you guys I was going to be a power lifter 5 months ago. I didn't even believe me. Now look at me. There's a competition in August. I'm going to go to my first competition. Praise God. Crazy. So I'm going to run up a mountain this summer, guys. Just want you to know. I won't be able to record it because I'll be running, All right, let's switch over because we're halfway through our hike. Oh, this is pretty. Let's get in the middle of it. Hold on a second. Let's walk a little bit up here. There's these weird looking, like doofy looking flowers, but because they're like not rotten. What do you call them? Like they're wilted. My camera's not gonna, this isn't the camera I usually use. That camera is uploading a video. Actually, check it out tonight. It's going to be the Bible study. We're going through the Gospel of Luke. We're at chapter 14, but that's uploading right now on the other camera, which is why I have this one that can't pick anything up. This doesn't even look like anything, and it really looks crazy. It looks really cool. That's too bad. So switching hats to my social worker hat about not waiting until the end of the day. And in that regard, I could go on and on and on forever because there's kind of two parts to what I do. Social worker, one of them is, actually they kind of fold into each other. I currently, in my 9 to 5, work with youth that have serious emotional disturbances. And I work with their parents to get them resources so that the family can move forward together. So that might mean community-based resources, meaning like a therapist or a support group or whatever, or residential placement, which could be what's called a PRTF, psychiatric residential treatment facility, or a therapeutic group home. Howdy do. You sure that dog wants to go? Right? That dog's like, get me out of here. So that's kind of what I do. And what does that have to do with not waiting until the end of the day? And I would say I have a caseload of 32. Oops. I I have 32 families I work with and consult with my coworker who has however many, I think 34 or whatever. And a lot of these behaviors that the kiddos have are addressed too late, right? And sometimes they're manifestations of parenting that wasn't done early on. And that's not always the case. Sometimes you have psychiatric disorders. And sometimes you don't. Sometimes you let little Billy get away with hitting people when he was 4, and now he's 8 and a little bigger, and that looks like physical aggression, except what we would call it is maybe oppositional defiant disorder or what have you. Here, I'll let you pass. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm all right. There you go. And then we slap a label on it. And now they're in the system, because with the label comes an IEP. An IEP is an individualized education plan. So now the school is on board. You get me, the social worker, I'm on board, whoever else in the community. Now this kid has a label. And I want you to think about it like this. If someone, whoever you are, whatever age you are, wherever you are in life right now, somebody came up to you and they were like, you are so beautiful. You're so pretty. You're so handsome. I've never seen anybody as beautiful as you. Take that for what you think of yourself right now. Like, okay, or yeah, I guess I am kind of pretty, or whatever. Or no, this person's lying to me. And then you get 5 more people coming up to you saying, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. You know what I mean? Let's sign you up for these services that only beautiful people get, and blah, 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 blah. And you're like, okay, yeah. I mean, maybe there's something to it. And then the next thing you know, your school, your community, your entire church, entire groups of people have labeled you as the most beautiful person they've ever met in their entire life. And you get all these, whatever, specific services because you're so beautiful. Eventually, you're going to start believing it. You're going to start carrying yourself as a beautiful person, however you think that should look. And oftentimes that's what we do to these kids. You're depressed. You're oppositional defiant. You have ADHD. And then we all kind of like get behind it. And sometimes it is a psychiatric issue. Sometimes also it was just maybe like neglectful parenting in some regard up front that evolved into verbal aggression, physical aggression, the inability to focus or sit still if you were not made to do that, you know what I mean? Which is a skill. I'm not saying like, if you're new here, I'm not like a people should be robots kind of a person at all, actually speak against it. But there is a skill in being able to at least have a facade of going along, you know. And some children just weren't taught these basic skills, you know. And then it's too late. And then the social worker's involved, and the school's involved, and then you've got this label, and you're going to carry that label most likely until you're 18. And then you turn 18, and hello, no offense to the 18-year-olds on here, but what we have right now is like a spitting out of 18 to 25-year-olds, and everybody's got some type of diagnosis. Not all of y'all got that diagnosis. You got it when you were 6, and everybody played along. And now that's part of your identity, you know. So what does that have to do with the social worker telling you, don't wait until it's too late? If you have kids, kids are tough. I'm not saying I don't have a, I used to teach parents to parent. I used to teach, oh, that's another business I had, but used to teach teenage moms how to parent. Teach them parenting skills. Every kid is different. Every mom is different. Every dad is different. Every circumstances are different. So that's not what I'm saying is to like, but I'm saying like, if you have a child, it's not too late to start parenting intentionally. Take away, this might ruffle some feathers. If you have a TV, throw it in the dumpster. If you have tablets, chuck them. Even if you're doing the quote unquote educational content, whatever, books. Get a book. I have a lady at my church. Her son has eyesight issues, and he's deaf. So she plugs in children's books into her phone, and he listens through his hearing aids, because he can't read books. Do you see what I'm saying? And this isn't a judgment thing. I'm just saying, like, your kid's not getting anything from the TV. Or kids aren't. Not your kid. I don't want this to come off as a judgmental thing. Kids aren't getting anything from TV. And it's kind of like, not to be all tinfoil hat-ish, but, I mean, the whole screens thing is a setup, you know, to make workers, to make people docile. Other things not to wait for, retirement. I think it's sad, and I know you guys do too, to see, they try to make it cute, like the Walmart greeters. Although they're not Walmart greeters anymore, are they? They're, they try to make, they're like the last person you see when you, as if like they're a security guard or something like that. But if you ask any elderly person, they don't want to be doing that. But why are they doing it? It was lack of funding. However, that pieced itself together. Nobody should be 70 and still working, unless it's like a passionate work that they want to be doing. It's a lack of planning, you know. And we can take that lesson now in our 20s and our 30s and our 40s and prepare for retirement now. Anything you don't like about life, like I know we like to complain about this and that in life, like these kids today or Trump or whatever, right? Like whatever you're upset about, like make a move so that the future doesn't look like that. You do something about it. Don't wait until the end of the day. Because if you don't like something now, you're really not going to like it in 10 years, right? Let's see. TWC says, hi, was scrolling and found you. I have adult ADHD and autism, but I'm not handicapped. Right? Because that doesn't mean that. And I'm 21 and a Taurus, and I have OCD too, and I have a Nirvana shirt from Amazon, and I like it. Well, I support your shirt from Amazon and you liking it. Yeah, I'm a chill guy too. I bet you are with your Nirvana shirt. I've never met anybody with a Nirvana shirt that was kind of uptight, to be honest. I think that kind of went against their whole thing. Big E does it. What's up, girl? What's up? 80 says, hi all, hope you are all able to take nice and healthy poops today and keep your fiber up. I know that was like supposed to be offensive, but that's totally legit. And I'll even segue. I'll piggyback off of that as far as not waiting until it's too late to take care of your health as well. I waited decades to get into hiking, and it's so peaceful. It's good for your legs and your circulation. I started eating a whole foods diet 5 years ago. I was morbidly obese. I was so obese, and I need to post a picture. I moved back to this town in Montana. I lived here for like 16 years, and then I left for 4 years, and I came back 2 years ago, and I would bump into people after being gone for 4 years who literally didn't recognize me. They had no, and not to be nice, but like, they had no clue who I was. And I actually had one woman say, I didn't know if that was you, and then you made a corny joke and I knew it was you. You know what I mean? And the reason why is because, hey, hi, oh, okay. She's running. But downhill. We're gonna go uphill. But yeah, I was morbidly obese. Like, I'm gonna show you my elbow. So now I have like kind of more muscular arms, but right here, you see where all those creases, all this creases used to be fat that hung over the side of my elbow. I was so fat, dude. And then not only that, my eyes looked like they were almost swollen shut with inflammation. So I was eating a pizza, a whole large pizza every day, and a 3-liter of Mountain Dew every single day. Oh, and the share pack of caramel M&Ms. I was real fat, bro. Doing the absolute most. I got diabetes twice. And then in 2018, I was like, I don't know where I got the idea, but I was like, what if I just do a glow up? It was January. It was starting to turn 2019. And I was like, what if I do a 5-month glow up and record it? GLOUP. And so each month, like first month was G, second month was L, then O, then U, then P. But yeah, I mean, long story short, I started eating a whole food diet. I started CrossFit. I lost 100 pounds, you know? So I know that guy was like trying to be funny about making sure you poop and getting your fiber up, but I know it could be intimidating, like if you don't have a good diet and you don't know where to start, and you're like, how do I do this? And there's so much information online, like, do I do the keto diet or the paleo diet, or what should I do? And I'm going to tell you right now, if it doesn't grow that way, don't eat it. And take it out of your house. So if you have pasta in your house, take it out. Or bread or fruit snacks. You know, don't listen to anything that's like, oh, 100% fruit juice. Well, then just get the fruit and juice it. Then you don't have to worry about extra chemicals. Except GMO, but that's another story for another time. But yeah, take care of your health. You don't have all day. You do not have all day to sit here and take care of your health. Ask the older people in your life, you know, and then enjoy what you do have. You know, even with like my hip hurting and my knee hurting, I wonder, I'm trying to be honest, like, I feel like maybe I shouldn't run this 10K, but I also feel like, what if this is the last time that I can run the 10K? You know? Who wants regrets? Who wants regrets at the end of their life? We don't have all day, guys. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't have to be this thing like, well, if you let's bring it back Christ side, right? I like to talk to people about Christ. I really do. But my manner, strangers, like even if you see I'm wearing a Christ shirt, a shirt with a cross on it, just in case somebody wants to have a conversation. But my method is largely like, who are you? What do you know about Christ? Like, how far from God are you, or how near to God are you? Do you have any questions or any fears, or like, what would it look like for you if you laid down your life for Christ right now? What feeling does that provoke in you? Is that like nerve-wracking? Is it a question of, which is super common, like, what do I have to give up? Do you know what I'm saying? But that is called friendly evangelizing. So like, you're essentially like befriending the person, and some people don't like that.